You keep wanting to do that thing. You know the thing, that new thing, that thing that you've been meaning to try, that thing you've been meaning to change, but you don't. You've got all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't make that change, and so you don't. Why? Some people would say it's fear, a fear of change, but what if it was something else? Hey everyone, my name is Josh, and I'm the Reverend Gamer Dad. I'm a pastor, I'm a dad, I'm a gamer, live streamer, content creator. Basically, I wear a lot of hats. And this is just my way of sharing some of my journey with you, some of the things that I've learned along the way, and I hope you enjoy. Let's get to it. We can all buy into the hype. Lose more weight. Save more money. Be more productive. Have greater influence. Be more popular. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming. There are constant voices telling us that we need to be different. And most of the time, it's not true. These are just people trying to sell you something or trying to hold you up to an ideal that maybe doesn't actually apply to you. And it's easy to get wrapped up in it. It's easy to try to get wrapped up into being something that we're not. And yet, change can be good. Sometimes it's necessary even. So if you've taken the time to evaluate yourself, if you've really dug down deep, you've done your research, you've done your homework, and you've said, you know what? No, I am ready to make whatever that change is. You think you are primed, you are ready, you want to make that change. If you are there, this message is for you because you've done the research, you've investigated the possibilities, you've searched online, you've watched tons of YouTube videos just like this one, and you think you know what you want to do. You have your goals in mind and you are ready to make that change. You're excited, you're ready, you are pumped, and now it's time to make the change. Well, you're excited until it's actually time to do something differently. Change can be really intimidating for a lot of people because it means that you have to do something differently. Wait, isn't that the point, to do something differently? You know, think about that old quote that's falsely attributed to Benjamin Franklin. Wasn't really him. You know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Of course, if I want different results, I have to change something. How's that working out for you? Sounds good in theory, right? And yet we continue to leave ourselves stuck in the same old routines, doing the same things over and over again. Despite wanting change, despite wanting things to be different, we refuse to make the change. Why? Some people think it's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of something different, fear of change itself, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of judgment. But I actually think it's something even simpler. Even when we're miserable, even when everything seems to be at its absolute worst, even when the world around us seems to be falling apart and nothing seems to be going right, we would rather wait for the world to force us to change than to actually take the steps to making the change ourselves. Why? It's because we're happier being miserable. All right, put your pitchforks down. Stop typing all of those mean, angry comments here in the comments section. I get it. Happy probably sounds a little harsh. Of course, I'm not happy. I'm not happy and I want to change, so I'm gonna make the change. Well, but I can't make that change just yet. And you know, because all those reasons. But I think it gets to the heart of what we are struggling with, whether we want to admit it or not. You see, as a group, as a society, as a species, we prioritize our comfort. We like our routines. We like things to be the way that they are. We prioritize this, even if we are unhappy, even if we wish things were better or different, we still like things the way that they are best. If we didn't, we would change them. And even when we have those moments, when we find ourselves so uncomfortable, when we desire and crave and need change so much, and we say, now is the time, I am going to make a change, I am going to do something different. As we're going through those motions, as we've done our research, as we're getting ready to make a change, we recognize that things are going to be different. They're going to be hard. And the uncomfortable reality, the uncomfortable changes that are required to affect that outcome that we want, well, those changes make us more uncomfortable feeling than our current uncomfortableness. See, we seek the familiar. We seek out that comfort, even if the situation makes us uncomfortable. Even if we're unhappy, we'd rather be comfortable than make that change. And you want to know the really messed up part? So many of us are happier to complain about our problem than to actually make the changes that need to be made. And no, I'm not talking about venting. We all need to vent from time to time, especially to that one person in our life who can be there for us to vent to share our emotions, our frustrations with. That's still important, but that's not what I'm talking about. But if you do have that person in your life where you go to them and you say, I'm having this problem, and you repeat it over and over again, and they try everything they can to get you to recognize, hey, you're struggling. Why don't you do something different? And you repeatedly shut them down. You repeatedly tell them over and over again, no, I can't make that change for this, that, or the other reason. And you continue to complain at them. If you know exactly what you need to do in order to get to the outcomes that you desire, if you know exactly what you need to change and you just don't, and you just continue to complain about it, then you, my friend, are happier being miserable. You are happier complaining than you are to change. And it's just because it's easier. It's easier to complain about a problem than it is to change. It's easier to be miserable than it is to take a solid look at your options and your opportunities and say, I know I can do this. So what can we do about it? I've seen tons of videos out there and articles, recommendations about what to do if you're feeling stuck, if you can't effect that change. Heck, there's even a video right here on my channel that's tagged at the upper right of this that talks about affecting change in your life. What is it that you can do about it now that you've really taken a moment to say, hey, you know, maybe he's right. Maybe it is time to make that change. How do I actually get to that next step? The truth is if you're looking for something to be different in life, you have to do something different. Wait, yeah, of course that's what that means. But what is it that I actually mean by that? Here's a great example. You've probably tried to make changes before. It may even be failure in those changes is why you're hesitant now. You recognize that change was uncomfortable and you don't want to live it again. You don't want to go through that uncomfortableness that change requires. But you see, people, well, we're creatures of habit. When we do try to make a change, when we do try to make an adjustment, when we do try to seek out those different outcomes, we usually go about them the same way. We use the same kind of methodology each time we try to affect change. So what if we changed the methodology behind it? What if this time you did change differently? Let's take a quick example. Fitness and weight loss are one of those things that lots of people try to change. They try to change their diet. They try to change their workout schedule. They try to change their relationship with eating out and all of those things. So a lot of people go to the internet or they go to a friend and they seek out advice. What's the best way to help make that change? Now, a lot of the good fitness gurus and enthusiasts out there will tell you, well, you need an accountability partner. You need somebody to journey alongside you that will help keep you accountable. You should be posting online to let people know that you're eating right, and hey, here's how you know I'm at the gym, because you can see me working out. And invariably, that often fails for so many of us. So if you've tried to do that for whatever reason and your friend stopped being a good partner, or your social media feed didn't provide you with the positive reinforcement and feedback that you need, if you've tried it several ways, several times that way, if you've tried several times in that way to make that change and it hasn't worked, do something different. Instead of having an accountability partner, don't tell anyone. Instead of checking in to prove that you're at the gym each and every time, don't tell anyone you've gone. Don't post anything. No progress pictures, no nothing. Just try it differently. If making changes the one way didn't actually work, try the change different way. And the truth is, it works in the opposite direction. If you've historically always tried to go it alone and fly solo and not let anybody know, maybe this is the time to try an accountability partner. Maybe this is the time to try to let the world know what you're up to get that positive reinforcement. You're a creature of habit. You've probably gone about this in the same patterns. Now, the different methods may have been a little bit different. It may have been one thing or another, one fad diet or one exercise routine, but you probably approached it the same way. This time, do something different. Here's another example. Maybe you're one of those instinctive change makers. You read an article that suggests, hey, this is that one thing that's gonna change your life, and you just dive right into it. You don't do any extra research, you don't do any extra homework, you don't do any self-reflection. You hear, hey, do this new thing and you'll be happier, or you'll be healthier, or you'll sleep better, or whatever the case may be, and you dive right into it. And invariably, when you make those changes that quickly, that suddenly, without that much thought, they fall apart, they fail. You can't keep up with it because you didn't do your homework. Well, this time, go the other way. When you think a change needs to be made, take a step back, really reflect on it. You can do lots of research, but first reflect inward on yourself. Is this a change that works for me, that I need to make? Is this something that I need improvement on, or is this something that's just being suggested to me? And again, the opposite is always true. If you're always paralyzed by too much research, by too much inward reflection, if you've spent too much time trying to make a decision as to whether you could make a change or can make a change, or whether you should make a change, and you never actually get to that point, it's time to try something different. Be a little bit more spontaneous. Take a moment and just be like, hey, that sounds cool. I'm gonna give it a try this time, rather than thinking it to death. At the end of it, my advice for you is this. For that next big change in your life, whatever it is, once you've taken the time to recognize that, hey, it really is time for this, I really am ready, approach the change differently than the other times you've approached change. Whatever method you were using before, try the opposite. If you overshare, undershare. If you overthink, underthink. Whatever the case may be, take the big picture stuff and rethink that first. If you want to grow, change is inevitable. It's going to be uncomfortable, going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it almost every time. So go do it. You got this.